Yeah, welcome back to uh, the lecture 11, and today we are going to discuss closed sets and open sets and convex sets. Once we have done that, we would be in a position to take up Weierstrass theorem. So let me start with a definition called closure point. A point X is said to be a closure point or a limit point of a subset X of Rn if there exists a sequence xk that converges to x. So what I mean to say here is that I have, let's say that I have a circle here, okay, and x1 square plus x2 square is less than 1. Let's say this is my definition of set S, which is a, in this case, is a subset of R2. So let's take a sequence, for example, which, let's say a sequence which so this is a sequence starts from here and goes towards 0. Okay, so then every point in this sequence is a point in the set S. So the sequence xk is a point in the set S, and let's say this is going to 0. The way I have chosen my sequence, limit xk k tending to infinity is 0. So then 0 becomes a closure point. 0 becomes a closure point. Similarly, let's say I take a sequence which goes, it starts from 0. Let's say the sequence starts from 0, and I mean origin 0 0, and it goes to point, approaches the point 1 0 from from inside. So this sequence could be like 1 minus, this is like, you could say 1 minus, the first point is say 0, then the second point is like 1 by 10, then 2 by 10, then 3 by 10, then and so on up to say 9 by 10, and then after that it is like 99.99, and then 0.999, and then 0.999, and so on. This is the x1 coordinate, and the x2 coordinate is all the time 0 0 0 0 0 0 0. So then this sequence, where is it going? uh, where is this sequence going? It's going to 1 0, and all the points in this sequence are inside the, strictly inside the circle. So therefore strictly inside the circle, and therefore it is a sequence from subset S, convergent also, and the limit point is 1 0. So this point is called the closure. This point is called the closure. And notice that in the, while 0 was the closure, 0 was inside of the set S, the closure 1 0 is not in set S. So what I am emphasizing is that every point in the sequence has to come from the set S, and the sequence that we are looking into is a convergent sequence, but the closure itself need not be in the set S. So that leads to the definition of what is a closed set. A subset S, a subset X in Rn is called closed. We are looking at a closed set now. Is called closed if it is equal to its closure. So again, let us look at let's take an example. Suppose I define set as set of all x1 x2 such that x1 square plus x2 square is less than or equal to 1. So in this particular case, this is the circle, and so to say, uh, not only everything inside interior, not only everything in interior, but the complete boundary of circle is in set S. So when you take a convergent sequence, convergent sequence of points, either it is inside of it or it will go to the boundary. But since the boundary is also a part of your set S, this set S itself is equal to its closure, because the closure is what? Closure is set of all closures of this point, all such sequences wherever they converge, you know that though the set that is created out of all these convergent sequences from the set S, and the convergent sequence could converge either at the point inside of it or it will converge at the boundary, doesn't matter. So since the boundary is also included here, S is equal to its closure and this becomes a closed set. Simply put, a closure set is made up of all the interiors and the complete boundary point. So we define an open set as one whose complement is a closed set. So for example, let me take that x1 square, set of all x1 x2 such that x1 square plus x2 square is strictly less than 1. So its complement is what? X1 square plus x2 square greater than or equal to 1. So that is a set like this, everything boundary and everything this side, outside of it. So this is a closed set. Every convergence sequence here either converges outside or converges onto the, because it's from this, it will either converge here or it will converge outside. So therefore this becomes a open set. So the important point is open set has no boundary point in it. Okay, it excludes all the boundary point. That's why it's a complement of the closed set. So therefore you could have sets which are neither open nor closed. For example, if I say x1 square set of all x1 x2 such that x1 square plus x2 square is less than 1, union 0 1. So I have added one boundary point and with a open set. So now the set which I have got, it's neither closed nor open. All right. So next I want to define a interior point of X. So I say that a point X in the set S, which is of course a subset of Rn, is an interior point if I can create some small delta neighborhood across X which is completely contained in X. So such a point is called to be an interior point. So a point X in X which is not an interior point is called a boundary point. If a point is in X but is not an interior point, is called a boundary point of X. So for example, X set X is x1 square plus x2 square, set of all x1 x2 such that it is strictly less than 1. Okay, all x1 x2. This is the set which I have, let's say I have considered. Now you recall this is an open set, it has no boundary point in it. So actually here the set S is itself its own interior. So open set is one which is just its own interior. So then this becomes a open set. And uh, x1 square plus x2 square less than or equal to 1. In this, the set, all the interior points are strictly less than 1. This is the interior set of all interior points. And because here you can create a neighborhood, the point is, you can, if you are inside, you can always strictly less than 1, you can always create a small neighborhood delta such that all points in that are still inside of this circle. So therefore this is all interior, and if you take the point on the boundary, on the circle itself, circle boundary itself, then that point is inside of set S now, but is a point, rather not inside, it's a point on in the set S. But whatever small neighborhood I create, there are some points here out which are excluded. So the complete neighborhood can, whatever small delta I take, the neighborhood will never be contained in the set S. So therefore such points are the boundary points. This is the way to define the this is the way to define a boundary point. So you now know the interior points and you know the boundary points. So now the next thing that we need to define is a bounded set. Okay, these are all simple concepts. I think you must be all agreeing to me that these are all very simple concepts, but important. Weierstrass theorem requires them. A bounded set is one in which all the x, if x is in S, for all x in S, the length of or the norm of x is strictly less than or equal to some constant, positive constant C, a positive constant C. So then this is a bounded set. So for example, both these sets of x1, x2, such that x1 square plus x2 square is less than or equal to 1 is bounded. Okay. Set S such that x1 square comma x2, sorry, set of x1, x2, set of x1, x2 such that x1 square plus x2 square is strictly less than 1 is also bounded. So in above case we have a closed and a bounded set, and in this case we have a open and a bounded set. A set, in particular we are interested in sets, a set which is both closed and bounded is called a compact set. This is called a compact set. In the univariate case, it just means a closed interval. In the univariate case, it just means a closed interval. The boundary points are also included and the inside is also included. Let's say, for example, if you look at set S, set of all x1 comma x2 such that x1 square plus x2 square is greater than or equal to 1 is closed but not bounded. So it is not compact. Compactness means bounded. It's there, right? It's compact. So and also closed, in the sense all the boundary points also should be a part of it. I think we'll take a break here. So let us take another example of a closed set. In fact, I would say uh, closed and bounded set or a compact set. Which is a set defined by set of all x such that norm of x is equal to 1. For example, let me take second norm. So I am having x1 square plus x2 square plus x3 square and so on up to xn square is equal to 1. If you sketch it in two dimension, what do you get? You get it on the boundary of the set is nothing but the boundary of the circle. So now how do I show that this is a closed set? So for example, you just take a sequence xk coming from set S. I'm taking a sequence xk coming from set S, and this sequence is has to be, to show that it is a closed set, I have to take a convergent sequence coming from set S. So let's say this sequence goes to X. So for example, you could have a sequence like this: first point, second point, third point, so on and so forth. Finally, let's say converging somewhere here. So, uh, since each of this point is coming from the a point. Each of this point is coming from the is follows that x1 square plus x2 square is equal to r square, or rather 1 square. So what we mean to say is that x1 k square plus x2 k square is equal to 1 square. And now I take limit k tending to infinity on this. So I get limit x1 k square plus limit x2 k square, or if I look at this limit k tending to infinity, then it is going to be, it's tending to x1 bar square plus x2 bar square. And since the left hand side limit k tending to infinity will be also the limit k tending to infinity on the right hand side, so this will also become equal to 1 square. So what is the conclusion? The conclusion is that x bar is also, where it emits, is also belongs to set S, and therefore S is equal to closure of S, or this set is a closed set. And since the length of x is anyway 1, it is bounded also. So closed and bounded set is hence convex. So this is something I will use again and again. This set x, where the length of x is just normalized to 1, and actually it is, though I have defined it over second norm, you can try it over other norms also. In all the cases, you will actually find that it is a compact set. Okay, now let's take some properties of such a open and closed sets. In fact, before that, I want to just define one more thing, which is called as a open ball and a closed ball. So set of all x for any norm, this is for any norm defined, like for example, it could be first norm or second norm or whatever. Set of for any norm, a norm in Rn and an epsilon greater than 0 and a x star in Rn, we consider the set x minus x star is strictly less than set of all x, such that x minus length norm of x minus x star is strictly less than epsilon. This one we call it as open ball or a open sphere. And set of all x such that x minus x star, length of x minus x star is less than or equal to epsilon. Epsilon is greater than 0. We will call this as a closed ball or a closed sphere. Alright. Now I'm almost done with my treatment of open and closed sets, and just close it by some properties which I have picked up from the appendix 6 of the Burtsika's nonlinear programming second edition. I want you to prove it yourself. I don't want to give the proofs of it. I think you can do it on your own. The first one is that the union of finitely many closed sets is closed. Second is the intersection of closed sets is again closed. The union of open sets is open. The intersection of finitely many open sets is open. A set is open if and only if all of its elements are interior points. This I think I have discussed earlier. Every subspace of Rn is closed. I think this I will discuss a bit later when I talk of subspaces. Right now I have not really had a discussion on them. And a subset of Rn is closed if and only if it is closed and a subset of Rn is not closed. I'm sorry, it's compact. A subset of Rn is compact if and only if it is closed and bounded. This is more of a definition rather than does not require any proof. So I think now we are done with continuity of functions. We are done with open sets and closed sets and compact sets. So now we are in a position to take or discuss Weierstrass theorem, which we will discuss in the next class. Thank you.